Hi everyone, greetings of the day. I am Karan Desai, currently intern at Virtual Testing Foundation internship for the cohort of September 2022 for the position of Information Security Administrator. I am recording this PowerPoint presentation for the Business Etiquette Task 2 for the week of 5 for the internship. So the topic is effective communication. What are the outcomes or what are the objectives from this PowerPoint presentation that we're gonna achieve? So, what is effective communication? First of all, we will understand what is effective communication, what is the communication chain, what is communication process, attributes of effective communication, that the process, that the elements that are required for the effective communications, and particular skills that one must be eligible, must have for the effective communication. So first of all, what is effective communication? So in general sense, communication means exchange. Communication can take place between any of the living things or non-living things. For example, your phone is communicating with the satellites. Your phone is communicating with the towers to fetch data in order to access the internet. Uh, Two friends are talking to each other and exchanging information or ideas. So communication can be defined as an exchange of ideas, knowledge, information, thoughts, or emotions between what? Between sender and a receiver through a channel using an accepted way of communicating. For example, we humans communicate in a medium or a channel called language. Uh, English speaking person may be communicating with English speaking person. Same as your satellite or your laptop may be communicating through ones and zero through internet connectivity. So accepted way of communicating. Effective communication. So after communication, a phrase comes effective. Effective communication can be defined as skilled and acquired communication, which take place based upon the environment. Feedback is very important as it helps in measuring the effectiveness of communication. Communication takes place in couple of phases, and the feedback is last phase. Response after getting feedback, one can understand whether the information sent by him or her has been received as expected or not. Understanding the message is key ingredient which distinguishes an effective communication from non-effective one. You, if suppose you are not eligible to understand particular language, uh, uh, an announcement that is being going on a railway station, you are not able to understand, then the communication will not be an effective one. So effective communication must have this ingredient, that is the understanding of the message. So what is the communication chain? Communication chain involves the elements that have been shown here on your screen. So first is sender. There has to be a sender. Sender sends a message from the message travels from a channel. Channel, the surroundings of channel is called environment. Then the message has been received by a receiver, and receiver then process the message. The process is called decoding. And after receiving the message, acknowledgement that is being given to a sender, it is called feedback or response. Let us understand these phases one by one. So first is sender. A person or people who have an idea in their mind that needs to be shared with other person or people. So sender is a person. Then the second is ideation. To communicate the person requirement, the first requirement is that the sender must have some thought inside his or her mind. This step is called what? Ideation. After that, encoding. The idea which comes to the mind of the sender needs to be converted into words, symbols, or signs which the receiver may understand. This process or this phase of communication process is called what? Encoding. A channel or medium. The message needs a medium or a channel to reach the receiver, whether you communicate orally or by writing. If you are speaking face to face, then you are using air as the medium. If you text a message, then you are using your mobile phone as your medium. The fifth phase is receiver. The person listens, who listens or reads your message is called a receiver. Decoding is the process that takes place on the receiver side. The receiver listens or reads the message and convert it into idea or thought according to his or her understanding. This is called decoding. Response and feedback. What differentiates a effective communication process from non-effective communication process is this phase, response or feedback. After receiving the message and decoding it, the receiver gives response. He or she replies back and takes required action. For example, your friend either agrees to go on the last day of the exam or tells you to wait for one day as he or she has some work on that day or may decline your request. If the receiver doesn't give any response, then the sender will be left confused as to whether the receiver has understood the message or not. Hence, without response, communication is incomplete and will be non-effective communication process. We left one element or one phase, that is environment. How environment is important in communication process. So the environment of communication, which includes the surrounding, also plays an important role in communication. Every communication requires a particular environment for it to happen effectively. For example, a classroom is required for lectures to happen in an educational institute. Lectures that take place in classroom are effective than the lectures that take place in open place. So what are the attributes of effective communication? So the physical appearance of a person is the first impact. So the first impression is the last impression, and the physical appearance has the first impact. Eyes convey the true emotions and the feelings one is going through. So when a person speaks with an eye contact, he shows his or her own conviction in what he or she is saying, and thus it helps in gaining trust of the listener. Facial expressions also help in expressing your emotions. While we talk to someone, our facial expressions also adds to our words and gives it more impact. Posture refers to the way we sit, stand, or walk, by the way we carry ourselves. Why posture is important is because a sluggish posture with dropping shoulders show low confidence or uninterested in speaking. A straight posture creates a good impression and also demands respect from others. Gesture refers to what? To the hand movements. How we keep our hands or move them while communicating has an impact on the listener as well. Thereafter, authenticity of the message. A message must be an authentic one for the listener to gain confidence and gain attention of a listener. Correctness in terms of the language. Language must be correct one to be understood by the listener. Message must be in precise and concise. Precise and concise. What are the skills that are required in effective communication? First is be an attentive listener. Listening does the half Listening does half of the work in an effective communication. Be concrete and clear. Another skill that you should have learn to be an effective communicator is to be precise and unambiguous with your message. If you're a person that tells the whole background story that is unauthentic and without any proof to explain your things, then you are not an effective communicator. Non-verbal communication is the key. Your body language plays a vital role for you to be an effective communicator, as we discussed earlier. Be relaxed. Stress and anxiety can ruin your communication and discourage you. Inform. To be an effective communicator, you should inform your audience about what your conversations would be about. Be visual. Representing the information that you want to display in front of your audience in visual form helps them to remember it for a long time. Show empathy. Showing empathy means showing understanding. Whether the listener has understood what you are trying to convey or not. Completeness means completing your sentence while communicating. So give and receive feedback. In effective communication, receiving the feedback is also important and is essential and one of the core skills for effective communication. Utilize your time in sensible manner. To effectively communicate in workplace or your profession, you must know your team members. So do not waste the precious time that your audience will get that you get during your coffee or lunch break, just sitting alone and eating. So the above are the required skills, and this was the presentation. This is the presentation. This presentation was all about effective communication and what is it. Thank you very much.